Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending where you are. Can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you for being here today in this holy gathering, which is called Discernment of the Heart, instituted by our Divine Mother to help us to connect with the capacity of listening to the voice of the divine wisdom, the voice of love in our heart, and to follow it. Thank you, Sarah, Monica, Ginny, Titina, Julia, and Marie Chris. Thank you for co-creating together this encounter, which is a portal to the divine wisdom. I take this opportunity to thank those who are going to join us later on in this session or through the videos that we share. I also thank you for your generosity, allowing us to record this gathering. So those who cannot be here for many different reasons can join the energy and the expansion of consciousness that these gatherings are through the videos that we share through different social media channels that our foundation has. So thank you very much. And as we always do, I'm going to remind us and to our humanity, which is discernment of the heart all about. So we can be present in this session. As I said before, discernment of the heart was instituted by our Divine Mother to help us to remember that we are discernment, that there is a place in our heart in which we can receive all the answers that our mind still has, and all the questions that we elaborate through our thinking mind can be answered, connected to the truth, deep in our heart. Discernment of the heart is all about going to our heart and to listen to the truth that talks to us within a dialogue between the Holy Spirit and our soul. That dialogue is absolutely personal and singular. And this is what our Divine Mother wants us to recover, the capacity to go to our heart, listen to the truth, and to follow it. We have the capacity to identify the voice of the truth and to follow our heart rather than following external authorities that are supposed to know more than what your being knows about you. Discernment of the heart is not about elaborating ideas with and through our thinking mind. It's about, as I said before, listening to your heart more and more every day, so you can make decisions if you need. You can understand if you want, through the divine wisdom in you. And because the truth is manifested within a dialogue, our Divine Mother wants us to do this in union and relationship, as everything in the movement of beautiful love, which is the name that our Divine Mother gives to this movement of consciousness that is being manifested through the revelations received. Something that is essential to the discernment of the heart is the capacity of listening. And that is why silence is so important for us, because we need to go to the silence of our heart before moving ahead to any kind of discernment of the heart. Listening allows us to receive the revelation that is constantly being manifested in our soul. And that is the reason why I will invite you to remain for a few minutes in silence and also listen to a short music before moving to the next section of this gathering, which is going to be focused on sharing the topic that we are going to share today. And within that time of silence, we are invited to take distance from everything we believe, any idea that we have in our mind, which comes from the past. The topic that our Divine Mother wants us to address today is whether our spirituality is from above or from below. Is our spirituality anchored in our humanity, or it is just an abstract idea full of beliefs, concepts that maybe bring the illusion of comfort, but they don't transform? Is our spirituality something that moves our humanity into action to manifest the love that we found, the truth that we already remembered, or it is just in our mind? As we always do, I'm going to develop briefly what our Divine Mother gives us related to this topic, and then we are going to open the rest of the session to an open dialogue from heart to heart related to this topic. So we can go deeper and deeper into the understanding of our spirituality. So now I invite you to remain for 1 or 2 more minutes in silence, and then to listen to music before moving ahead, so we can rest in peace and connect to our heart. Thank you. Thank you very much for this moment of presence in the silence of our heart. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us today, and also Ruben. Thank you very much. Our Divine Mother wants us to bring to our attention, to our consciousness, the question that we shared at the beginning of this gathering. And the question is whether our spirituality is from above or from below. Means whether our spirituality is anchored in our humanity or not. Sometimes we walk through a spirituality that is anchored in our mind, developing beliefs, ideas, concepts, debates, whether God is this or that, whether eternity means this or that. And our mind is so happy to play that kind of games, creating ideas about our spirituality. But when that happens, that spirituality doesn't include our body, means our humanity, not just our physical body, but our psychological aspect of our human experience, our physical dimension as human beings, and the whole, experience in this earthly kingdom. That's why we say and spirituality from below, which means an spirituality that comes from the earth and is elevated and integrated into heaven. But not just in heaven, it comes from the earth. It is rooted in our humanness, in our human experience. Does our spirituality transform our life? Jesus says that sometimes spirituality doesn't transform our experience as human beings because it is not connected to our reality in every present moment. And he says that is not spirituality because spirituality transforms your life, helps you to change your ideas, your concepts, your beliefs, and then to move to action, to transform your daily life. And he also says that spirituality moves us to action, to do something in our life with that spirituality, which doesn't mean that we have to do something to share spirituality, but to transform, to allow the Holy Spirit to transform our life, and then that can be manifested in our activities, in our actions. In other words, our Divine Mother is telling us today, it is not enough to talk about love. It is not enough to talk about the truth or to look for it. It is needed to embody that love, to become the incarnation of Christ, to incarnate the truth that we already found. And this is the call for this gathering, a call that allows us to be aware whether we allow the Holy Spirit to transform our life and to make us something and someone new. And we are being able to integrate this spirituality with our body and our human experience, which at the end of the day means also that we integrate everyone and everything into this spirituality, not as a doctrine or dogma, but as the love that we truly are, that can be manifested in others' life as well. If we allow the Holy Spirit to transform our humanity, then we will be instruments of transformation for others, to help others and to help ourselves to be more connected to happiness, to the inner peace, to heal wounds, to extend compassion, which is the essence of love. And in order to do that, we need to anchor our spirituality in our body, in our human experience. And that includes our needs as human beings. Sometimes we create spiritual bypassing through our spiritual beliefs. But here our Divine Mother says, love your humanity, love the earth. Everything that maybe your ego mind doesn't like, she likes that. And we are invited to love everything that we are, especially those aspects of our humanity that we don't like, that we believe are not good enough. So we can be anchored in our humanity. Our Divine Mother also says that we are called to love our shadows. So we can integrate both aspects of our human experience, shadow and light. If we are focused just in one of them, we lose the balance. She uses an example saying, if you are focused just in the light, you will not be able to see anything because there is too much light. When there is too much light, you don't see anything. And when you are connected just to your shadows, you lose the capacity of discernment because you don't see anything anyway. No one can see anything in the darkness. And in the same way, no one can see anything if the light is so shining that you cannot see. In order to see, in order to be able to live by the truth, we need to integrate both aspects of who we are. Our wounds, shadows, vulnerability, and our light, wisdom, and strength. Because this human experience has both elements, and they are needed for our soul. Thank you very much for listening to me. And now we have the rest of the gathering to immerse our humanity into a dialogue from heart to heart. And maybe one of the questions that we can bring to our attention for this dialogue is to think about how much anchored in my humanity it is my spirituality. Am I being more integrated into this global and universal human experience, or we are so elevated that we don't take care about our human needs? Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we listen or we believe that because God is so elevated, so full of love, and because He is the fullness of everything and He doesn't need anything, we shouldn't take care of our needs. So we don't eat, or we don't try to have friends, or try to express our feelings just because we think that God doesn't do that, something like that. So we become too much divine sometimes. And sometimes we become too much human. So the balance is how we can integrate the human and divine reality of who we are, which is the new. The new is going to come through the embodiment of love, through the incarnation of Christ in our humanity, loving who you are, embracing everything that you are, so we can live in the balance of the truth. Thank you. Thank you very much. And please feel free to open this dialogue with a question or sharing anything or just remaining in silence. Sometimes we just want to listen in the silence of our heart. And the truth is going to talk to you, of course. This dialogue is not about creating debates or elaborating ideas, but it is about bringing to our awareness the fact that sometimes we go too high with our spirituality, and sometimes we go too too low. And how can we keep in the balance? How do we do in order to live in that balance? Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, Ruben, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian. A few days ago, in Glenn's group, this past Monday, a question was presented like this person say, I know the truth, but I want to bring the truth here. I want to heal the world. I want to heal uh, my brothers and sisters. I I want that. Even we have a group where we believe we can heal all these bodies. And my inner voice, of course, not only my inner voice, but other beings, other minds, other bodies in the group share what I'm going to share. I say my only work is to embrace the truth of who I am and let that truth extend through me, through all these minds, through all these thoughts, through all these image, all these bodies. I cannot do it from the separate point of view. I have to tune the core of my being. I had to become one with love and let love embrace the spirit, the mind, this body, and through all this body, through the mind, extend itself. I don't do it. Love does everything. The spirit does everything. My only work is to embrace the truth and be lost in the truth, like the truth and I are one. So now Reuben disappeared to become the truth, and the truth uses Reuben's mind, Reuben's body to spread all this stuff. And I notice other people there in the group feel the same way. And that's my experience, because the moment I tried to do it, I lost the connection with oneness, with everything. The moment I tried to heal, to do it without the awareness that I am one with everything, it gets lost. So I say, whoever is ready to listen to this truth is going to get it. And whoever is still not ready, they're not going to get it, no matter how I put it, no matter how we put it. But the truth is always been there, and that we are the truth. There is no separation. We are the truth. So, and that truth is in us. There is nothing outside the truth that is real, I can say. There is only love, there is only truth. So, and it's happening in us, is us for us. So I just wanted to share that, because that was one of my obstacles to express the truth, or to let the truth lead the way. One of the reasons that I joined these groups, or one of the reasons that I joined the Holy Spirit, is because I wanted to heal my sister's body. I wanted to heal my father's body's illness, but I wanted to heal my own body too. But later, inner voice tell us, Reuben, the body is not sick. Your sister is not sick. Your father is not sick. Your body is not sick. You don't have any illness. Your mind feels sick. And it's because you feel that you are separate from the source. The only thing that you need to do, Reuben, is to embrace the truth with your mind, with your spirit, with everything you think you have. And the spirit and the love and that source is going to do the healing through you, to your sister, to your father, to your body. And that was 20 years ago. So I give myself to the truth. And I was able to see the healing of the mind of my father. I was able to see the healing of the mind of my sisters. And I was able to see and feel the healing of my own mind too. So, but I had to surround everything what I think I know, and let the present, let the source let love lead the way. So I just wanted to share that because I hear a lot of times we want to bring the source to the illness. We want to bring the source to all this conflict in the physical world, but that's the never ending. The only way that I was able to help me and whatever was around me is to bring the illusion to the truth, to bring my father and my sister and my own body to the truth and be embraced by that truth. It can transmute from physical to spirit. And the physical still there, but now it's in the service of the truth. Thank you. I'm complete.
Thank you, Ruben, very much for what you shared. I wrote briefly the topic that we are addressing in this session of Discernment of the Heart for those who want to read it, or maybe you joined us later on. So you can find it in the chat room. And please, Julia, go ahead. Thank you.
Hello, beautiful souls. Here we are again. We saw each other yesterday, most of us. Well, I was reflecting a little bit when, again, I read your question that you put in the chat, and also when I hear you on the presentation. And in my case, I think it's a mix of them because spirituality is a kind of refuge for me. And sometimes, yes, I am aware that maybe I make it special and like making it an idol or a refuge for not wanting to be in the suffering of this world. But also is grounded in my humanity, in my experience, because I see with the communication with something bigger that, well, um, that she gives me signs that it's like a proof that is something invisible that exists. I don't know, like, something, but it's, like very little, but it's an anecdote. But for instance, with the number 33, it's like very often during the day when although I don't look much to my cell phone or to the clock, but when I look, very often is the hour and 33 minutes. And I think that love communicates with you in any way that it comes, that, he knows well what is going to remind you, like to make you smile or to come back to love. So for me, I always smile when I see the number 33 anywhere, but especially on on my clock. Well, that's the sample that comes now, but I don't know. I have examples that when I have liberated something that like I surrender and I say, okay, I don't want that anymore, and I stop asking for something. It's like, yes, I surrender. It's like I realize that it's not worth it. And sometimes I think it happens that it's given to me afterwards. It's like, oh, okay, maybe. Well, maybe I think that is when I have surrendered and I don't need it anymore. It's like, oh, well, now I am going to give it to you because you don't depend on that. Well, only that for now. I wanted just to kind of clear up my mind with all of you here, because for me it's a very important subject. And thank you, Sebastian and our Divine Mother, for bringing this subject, because it's very important, and well, and it brings light. And if you have any comments, I appreciate them. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia, very much for what you shared and for your interest to listen to me. And I think it is very important to accept that our human experience includes polarity. That's part of our dual experience that we came to this earthly kingdom to walk through. Polarities means that everything here in this experience has its opposite. We can't experience light without darkness. We can't know what beauty is if we don't know the opposite, and so on. We know that something is higher because we know that something is smaller, and so on. So opposites are part of this reality. And our Divine Mother wants us to integrate that experience. Heaven and earth are words that try to explain the creative tension that we experience between spirit and body, between our divine reality and our human reality. Sometimes we deal with polarity, with the opposites, going to an extreme. Like we say, well, we have the polarity and the opposites of good and bad, so I go just to the good things, whatever that means to every person. And we try to live in that extreme. But then we experience the opposite, because it is part of the way of living for our mind and human heart in this earthly kingdom. Also, if we don't literally experience the opposite, means through any activity, we experience it internally, Jesus says, because every time that we think about light, then we think about darkness, because otherwise we cannot even think about the opposite. So here there is an invitation from Jesus that maybe it can be helpful for you, as it was for me. And he says, when you achieve the Christ consciousness, when you begin to remember the truth of who you are, you no longer try to transcend opposites. You just accept the opposite, and you can abide, you can stay in a place in which those opposites are possible. You allow them to be what they are without losing your identity. Because the tension that we feel due to the opposite creates, sometimes fear when we don't accept the opposites, when we are not able to integrate the opposites into the love that we are. So we say, this is not too spiritual. This is not very divine. So I have to eliminate this from my own experience because I'm supposed to be a spiritual person. Or we do the opposite because I don't want to be a spiritual person. I'm not going to talk about interesting things because interesting things are just for wise people. And I don't want to be a wise person. I just want to be having fun and being just human. Then we go to the other extreme. And Jesus says, even though you try to go to one extreme, everyone goes to both. Sooner or later, we go to one extreme of the reality and then to another extreme. So here our Divine Mother is inviting us to live in the middle. She says that the truth is going to be found in the middle of the extremes, which means that you accept the tension, the creative tension that is needed in order to give movement to your soul, and you accept it without trying to eliminate anything, just being in the middle of that, feeling that tension without losing the consciousness of who you are, without being dissolved into that tension. You can take distance from that tension because you are not the opposites. You are not that tension. You are what is beyond that. But in order to remember who you are and to live in the truth of who you are, you need to accept that this reality, this earthly experience, is basically an experience of opposites. And that tension is going to be everywhere. The tension between spirituality and humanity or spirit and body is just one of those polarities. But we can have, an endless list of polarities in our human experience. And I think this is a very important, Julia, to remember. We are, in this human experience, we maybe wake up today feeling that we are the most wonderful creation in this universe, and we love everything, and we feel like we are integrated to the totality. And then tomorrow we wake up and we feel like we are nothing, we are depressed, we are disconnected from everything. And that is what our emotions do for us, to move us, from one extreme to another one, in order to give movement to your soul. Our Divine Mother says, today can be the day in which those polarities can be embraced within the love that we are, and to live in that tension, feel it, embrace it, accept it as what it is, a tension that creates love. Because that is the reason why it exists. It creates life because our Divine Mother says, if that polarity wouldn't exist, your soul wouldn't be moved. And if, life is movement. So that tension creates movement in your heart. And that movement helps you to go back to heaven, to return back to the truth of who you are because of that tension. So we don't need to eliminate the opposites. We don't need to eliminate the tension between spirit and body. But yes, we need to integrate it so we can live by the truth of who we are, which is not the extremes. We are not the polarities. We are not that tension. We are the soul who is observing and experiencing that tension, that creative tension. And finally, I think that brings us to one polarity that I believe is very important for us to integrate, which is fear and love. We talk a lot about, fear and love as opposites. But our Divine Mother invites us to integrate both polarity into our humanity. So we can go beyond that to the truth of who we are. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening to me. And I think Reverend Rita Joy wants to say something, and then Joey Chris. And I say hello to both of you, and thank you for being here.
Hello, everyone. You're talking about what was it? Opposites and how they come up in our life, and I'm coming to realize they will always come up in this dimension. Always. It's not a one and done. And recently, this is so apropos that I have my soul brought me here today, because recently there are changes in my life that are, I would say, huge, and have sort of rocked the boat and have surprised me, because I have experienced anger, and I haven't experienced anger in a long time. And so it's rather large. And I realize now I can either feel regret for having chosen anger and upsettedness as a sort of personality flaw, and feel bad, like you said, that I'm not, who I thought I was, but who do I think I am? I'm not this personality. And so to integrate this into who I truly am by accepting, not resisting, not feeling guilty, but by integrating it with the self that I am. And it's amazing. This morning, I read in the morning, and I came upon this part in what I was reading. It wasn't in the course, another book I haven't read in a long time. And it was talking about this, about how these things come up in our life. And we may want to become aware of them and present to become better people, better personalities, better self-image. Or we can use self-awareness to come to acceptance and embrace it, and come back and integrate it, and come back to the knowledge of who we truly are. And then we feel the unity with everyone at the same time, because we share that self. So it's a wonderful synchronicity. And I thank you so much for this opportunity. And I thank my soul, and I thank all of you. And I'm complete.
Thank you, Reverend Rita Joy, for what you shared. And please, Joey Chris, go ahead.
Wow. Thank you, Reverend Rita Joy. I appreciate you wanting to be the joy without opposites, as the "What Am I" prayer says in the Course in Miracles. Wow, I really appreciate the pearls of wisdom that are shared here. And I could tell I'm in the right place because I'm accepting it. If I wasn't, if I was very blocked by the ego, it wouldn't make sense to me. It wouldn't be, I wouldn't bring it in to my being. And I love what you shared, Sebastian, about the polarity and specifically the vibration of hate and love. And what Ruben said about transmutation and being able to transmute in awareness that as I'm practicing being present here now and just observing what the content of my mind is and and the feelings, that the sensations that the senses are picking up, I could easily bring that to my awareness and allow it to be as it is, and be very loving, non-judgmental, non-reactive to what I'm witnessing within me. And that really multiplies my light within myself. It's like I think there's a spiritual teacher that says it's like fire to a wood to a eternal fire that's burning. It just, that light grows bigger and bigger within as we do this. So I'm super blessed by what I'm hearing. I don't know if I shared this in this group, but I had an opportunity to experience what I'm saying when I went to a supermarket for the first time. I saw within myself reactions of not liking what I was witnessing and what I was feeling, both in the body and in the mind. And I decided to be with that and forgive or give it over in awareness. And what came to mind is to be an expression of that love in the supermarket. There's people that couldn't reach things, so I went over and helped that person reach for it. When I'm buying a bouquet of flowers, I will pull out a flower and give it to someone who is communicating that a call for love and answer that love through a flower. And recently I was at a line and my card wouldn't, the register in the car wouldn't pick up my card, the signal. So there's this lady next to me who works there and was out of work, but she still had her uniform on, and she helps. She was so kind. She takes my card and tries so many ways, but couldn't do it. And finally she says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." She bought all my groceries. And it's like, oh my goodness. However, do we have the ability to express love in our mind, our words and actions, and that multiplying and coming back to us and realizing that's what we are? Of course we do. It says it in so many scriptures. But it's a wonderful experience when you actually see that too. I'm complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey Chris, for what you shared and for allowing us to remember that we can be who we are in any circumstances in our life. Sometimes I feel like, at least that happened to me in the past, that sometimes we think that there are some actions that are more important than other actions. Like if I'm running a country, this is more important than going to the supermarket. But from the consciousness standpoint, the only thing that is important is to be who we are. Even when we sleep or when we, make dishes or when we go to the supermarket. And I think it's very beautiful to remember that. So thank you very much. As Saint Teresa of Lisieux says, it is not about doing great things, but doing small things with a great love. And I think that is what you are sharing. And thank you very much, because isn't it a great relief to know that you don't need to make great things? I mean, I don't want to do great things. I just want to be who I am and to be in harmony with my true self and my true essence. And I believe it's beautiful when we are able to see the divine reality in small things in our ordinary life. Jesus says, what makes your ordinary life extraordinary is the love that you bring to it. Because love is what makes everything extraordinary. So thank you very much, Joey, Chris. And I think George wants to say something. I'm so happy to see you, George. I don't know what time is where you are, but I guess it's either
About
early
7:30.
or too late.
About 7:30 in the morning.
Okay.
I just wanted to, but I haven't made a lot of your meetings, and I'm so sorry, but they start at 6:30 here, and it's just hard to get up sometimes. I just wanted to add.
I know.
I just wanted to tell you I love you and add more love to whatever's going on. That's all I want to do. And tell you that I still hope to make it to Argentina sometime. That's it. Love you all. Love all of you. Just love, that's all.
And thank you, George, very much. And I hope you can access to the videos that we share, which is a way of being part of this. And we have here Mark, who just came back from the Refuge of Divine Love, so he can share with you his own experience if you want. And I mean, we have Mark and 8 more brothers and sisters coming from Sedona last month, and it was a true blessing to have that experience. So thank you, Mark, for coming to the Refuge of Divine Love. Thank you for being who you are, and please go ahead sharing.
Thank you, Sebastian. And thank you, everyone. Actually, before I share about coming to Argentina and the Divine Refuge, which was just amazing, I just want to say how much I appreciate each one of you that has shared today, because, I just feel that love that you are and that we all are. And sometimes, like when we get in the battle of polarities, we don't feel that. We may feel other ways, and we got to kind of just hold on sometimes, knowing who we truly are. And things pass, things move through, and I know there's always a divine purpose in everything that happens to each of us, and the purpose is always the growth of love and the awareness of love, not only for ourselves but for every human being on the planet. We are all that. And so, Sebastian, you, my brother, are amazing. You really are. I mean, and I don't say that to inflate your ego, but I just love you in this, and everything you're about is amazing. I mean, and being there with you for a week, I want, honestly, I just wanted to stay there with you, you know, and Miguel and Soledad. And we we all had an amazing experience being with you guys and being at the refuge and all the different things that we did together, in honor of the Divine Mother and the different um it's like we did different things, just to let the group know. We did different things and we performed certain ceremonies and said certain prayers at certain times. And it was amazing. It was just like being dropped in heaven for a while, you know? And we did so many things together. I mean, we went on many boat rides and ate in restaurants, and we ate the wonderful food that Soledad and you guys prepared and you served. It was like you were like the servant of everyone, Sebastian. And I know that's your intention because of your love, and how many times can you say thank you and I love you? And we just keep on going to say that because um, I am the love that lives within me. And all these affirmations, identity affirmations that you gave us, 8 of them, and I think there's 21 or whatever that's going to come out in your new book, and we're all waiting to see that, and so anyway, I could go on and on, but it was such a beautiful experience. I mean, just the hearts, and we asked Sebastian would be serving something, and Sebastian, let me help you. No, no, I don't want you to help me because I want you to rest. I want you to enjoy. I want to serve you, and on and on. And the love was just overflowing, I would say. And it just did amazing things for all of our hearts. So blessings to you and all. I love all of you. Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you, Mark, very much for your love and for your sharing. And I would like to say a few things about that. And one is that you gave us, and as everyone who comes here gives us the opportunity to do what this discernment of the heart session is talking about, means that we can move into action what we are, because the love that we are calls us to serve, and service is extremely important for being who we are. And every time that you come here, we can serve you in a different way, which fulfills our heart. We feel happiness and completion and joy serving. And the other thing that I would like to bring to our awareness is that every time that you come here, either you or other brothers and sisters that are moved by our Divine Mother, we can also experience the unity between spirituality and humanity, which is what we talk here. That's why we have sessions in which we were praying, and then meditation, and then healing sessions in a very specific time. But then we go to visit the area, enjoying the beauty of Delta, using different boats and going to some restaurants, and also some places where you can buy things and know something more about this country, so we can keep the balance between, having tourism and praying at the same time. We don't need to pray 24 hours a day, and we don't need to eat in a restaurant 24 hours a day. Well, and everything that I experienced in activities was up and from my own experience. Feel all of you from all our you really have
Sebastian, we cannot hear you well.
I'm sure he's coming back. There he is.
I'm sorry about that. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. There was something with the internet connection. I was saying that the experience of being truly brothers and sisters is so beautiful. So the experience that I had is that, like, we were like a family in this place all together, and taking care of everyone, whatever they need, and having, conversations and enjoying together. It was a real experience of brotherly love, which I believe is very, very healthy, and it is what we are. We are truly brothers and sisters, and sometimes we can have that experience. And this is what the Refuge of Divine Love is all about: experiencing love, love, and love. Just that. And thank you. Thank you very much for listening to me. Please, Ruben, go ahead.
Just to let you know, both of you, that experience that you have, Sedona group and you, we were able to feel it. Something's happened there because it didn't stay in Argentina. It touched us. It touched the group of embodiments of love. It touched, like every Sunday we were doing embodiments of love. You were there. Mark, you were there. Iona, have. We never, we feel so close to all of you that we were able to experience what you experienced, just being in a tune with the Spirit. We were riding the boat. We were eating the food. I'm like, this is crazy. But that's what love does. It extends itself. It's from love to love. And there is no borders at all. So thank you, because same things happen when we join in these groups. It doesn't stay here. It extends and extends and extends. So I'm sure Christina wanted to be here. Christina, She lives in Australia. 3 weeks ago, probably 3.5, she went through a major surgery. And the hip replacement. So before that, all of us, the truth, the spirit, was with her. She went through that surgery in peace. They call us after the surgery, she's in peace. So I say we're in peace. All of us, we're with you. So she's anxious to see all these recordings because she can feel the love extending. So thank you. I'm complete.
Thank you, Ruben, very much for what you shared. And I would like to invite you to close this session with a mix of prayer and meditation that was created by Leonie from Australia, which is posted on her YouTube channel, which is inspired on by Choose Only Lab. And I think it's very beautiful, and we have time to do that because it's 6 minutes of meditation. So we can finish on time, if you agree. Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much for co-creating this moment of union with love and wisdom. And I invite you to remain 1 more minute in silence and to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, you can keep them open. And to get immersed into the meditation and prayer that Leonie has created, inspired on the movement of beautiful love, this energy that comes from our Divine Mother. We are in the time of Mary, in the time of the feminine of God, means the time of the Mother. And that energy is being more manifested every day through these revelations and other revelations that come from the same energy. And I invite you to feel it and to allow the Holy Spirit to transform your humanity through this expression before finishing this session and saying goodbye. Thank you. Love is my religion and my faith, and I give it to you. Thank you. Thank you very much for co-creating together this portal of light, and I wish you have a wonderful rest of the day. Love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, everyone.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Love you all.
Bye,
Thank
George.
you. Bye.